Hi, I hope you're having a great day wherever you are. So today again, there's very interesting news. So let's just dive in. So first we have Tone Vays, who is again a famous analyst in crypto, says there's no such thing as crypto, just Bitcoin. All the other coins are either useless or scam projects. So let's see what he says. So Tone Vays, he's an analyst in crypto. And he has tweeted that basically there's no such thing as crypto. There's Bitcoin. There are waste of time, useless projects like Monero, Litecoin, and other proof of work owners blockchains. And there are scams like Ethereum, Dash, XRP, and all ICOs like Binance, EOS, ADA is Cardano, and of course TP I'm not sure, but this is a very, very controversial statement and very, very polarizing as well. He is clearly a Bitcoin maximalist just by this kind of tweets, right? And I definitely don't agree with him, right? Because I think we are still in a very, very much experimentation stage, right? Though Bitcoin, I agree, it is useful, and in fact, it has the longest history and definitely has proven its worth, but along the way, it has also inspired other useful projects to spring up, right? And also just improve the whole ecosystem as a whole. So for example, like Ethereum is one of the earliest, right? And Litecoin. So Ethereum first, I don't know why he says it's a scam, but because clearly Ethereum is trying to deliver a smart contract, which is a very, very valuable thing, right? A very valuable feature to the future world where everything is going to be digital, everything is going to be robotic, right? That you will need something like that in the future, right? Because it's very unimaginable now in the future how things will be run. So imagine like driverless taxis, right? That we have Bitcoin, we have other coins to pay for payment, but we need a mechanism, right? An automatic mechanism to make sure everything runs. And if there is dispute, if things doesn't go as in the agreement or in the covenant, right? There will be consequences automatically kicked into place, right? And of course, there are Binance Coin, which is clearly doing a big part of what they do to deliver value to grow the ecosystem. But of course, in the process, they are also getting the gains as well, but that's because they have delivered so much value to the ecosystem, right? Then it's no surprise that they stand to gain from all this initiative and all this work as well. And Monero, he didn't say is scam, but he did say it's waste of time. I don't see why it's a waste of time, because honestly, Monero is bringing the privacy feature to an even very extreme first-class level, right? We're making privacy transactions a critical must, and is a reality now with Monero coins, yeah? So And they have then inspired many other privacy coins as well. I mean, in a world today, right, because people really need privacy, because, right, this is something that we don't have for so long, and in a way, some people think we will lost it we will lost it forever. And Monero is one of those initiatives, along with many other private coins, right, that basically aim to change that thinking that, privacy is still very much possible as long as people believe it, right? And Monero coin is mainly driven by that, because if there's enough people believe that there's a need for privacy, then coins like Monero will survive, right? So I really don't agree, but I think what he wants, just my opinion again, putting such a polarizing statement out there in Twitter is clearly going to garner you a lot of publicity. So I don't know what his real motive is, but to me, that is one of the big objectives, I think. Yeah. Moving on, we have Binance Coin price defies odds, up 300% in 2019. So this is the price charts of Binance Coin since its inception to date. Yeah, and it is very, very interesting. And this is the only coin in the more than 2,000 coins in crypto world that see its price, right, hitting the same level, or in fact higher than its peak in January 2018. Remember, January 18 was when Bitcoin hit its recent peak of $20,000, right? And after that, it has seen a crash of more than 1 year long winter. But Binance Coin has also hit a high, and every other coin has also hit a high at that point, right? Which is about slightly over $24. But Binance Coin is the only one coin in the crypto world that has again surpassed that peak in about yesterday, which is more. It's a hit $25, right? So though now there's a bit of retracing, but still this is very, very significant. As you can see, these two peak here, right? That's what it means. And So the thing is that what causes such a big uptrend in Binance Coin, right? And in fact, it is up 10% even if you compare to Bitcoin. So it seems there's a decoupling effect happening between Binance Coin and Bitcoin. So what is happening? And it is not surprising, right? The most recent news is, of course, Binance Coin has already launched its decentralized exchange, right? And as I've said in one of the previous video, Binance is always ahead of itself. It's basically, it's not even thinking of who are the competitors they are trying to disrupt. It's like they are disrupting themselves. They're always trying to be a better version of themselves, right? And so this is clearly great, and they have demonstrated that very clearly in all their execution, right? They are not one to boast, but they are one more to execute, and then they will talk about it. Like even before this, when they first started, they were so focused on execution, and only in like maybe last 1 year or so, where the CEO of Binance, CZ Zhang, right, Zhang Pingzhao, he only started to really take on Twitter to further engage the audience, and that, of course, right, has further spur the adoption of Binance Coin, and basically giving it more publicity, and of course then adoption, and then further increase is usage and adoption and people going on their platform, and of course they continue to have new launches of things, right? So for example, the most recent one that they done is, of course, they have changed their model. So the very unique thing that they have, so many unique things, right? But one very notable that comes to mind is because they have a platform where they basically allow listing of new projects, right? And they will already vet the projects beforehand, and all their projects so far has been sold out in minutes, right? And that just proves how popular these coins are, and generally it has seen so why are they so popular? Because also from the track record of about 3 or 4, they have seen generally they are able to get a discount when they buy pre-sale, and then when the coin is finally listed, they always see again, which again people can cash out, right? And they have just recently changed the model of how do people get access to these coins pre-sale. Is that before that it was first come first served, and then there were a lot of complaints, and then they listened to the people, right? They're very receptive to customers, and they have changed that model to basically saying you will get allocation or tickets, right, depending on how much Binance coins you have. So they want to award people, or they want to reward people who are loyal fans of their platform. And then if you hold higher number of coins, you can then access more of those new coins to be listed at pre-sale prices, right? So that is still very good. So it's more a chance, right? So it's more of based on lottery basis. So it's a chance, but it had how much Binance coins you hold has a factor to play as well. So definitely very good. They're very good at creating their own ecosystem and just locking people in, right? So like a spider web. That's really how I think about it. And of course, they continue to just think ahead of themselves. I mean, first they unlike every other competitor, they were the first one to launch with crypto to crypto exchange. Why? Because the speed to market is much sooner, because you don't need so much regulations, because if you're not dealing with fiat, only in like early this year or end of last year or so that they start to have fiat to crypto exchange, because they see that a lot of money still in the fiat world, so they want to have the exchange. And they have opened in Jersey, and they are opening soon in Singapore and so forth, and they are opening every continent in the world this year, right? And not only that, they are already now going to launch a decentralized exchange. Decentralized exchange is going one step further to disrupt their own model of centralized exchange, because they see that in the future, at some point, when people are very comfortable with centralized exchange, then they will understand that, right, there is a lot of risk with the centralization, which is basically the main thesis why cryptocurrencies come about, right? It's actually to debunk all this risk of centralization that banks have, right, in safeguarding our money. So now everyone has control of their own money, and that is moving to a decentralized model. But similarly, in crypto exchange, it first started out with centralized model because it is so new, right? A lot of people still want to have that comfort that someone trusted, someone reputable is helping them to manage their funds, right? But now that they foresee that in the future, when everyone is very comfortable with that model, with understanding the concept of private keys or public keys, then they are going to be much more comfortable, and they will be more sophisticated in demanding a decentralized exchange kind of model. So for now that they are starting it, and so far, all decentralized exchange has not a good track record of succeeding, but Binance Coin, it is with much anticipation and much expectation that they're probably going to be the first one to change that trend, because they have such a good track record in execution. So, it's a lot of high expectation there, but let's see what is going to happen, right? But just that all these things alone, right, that they have done just makes them so much desirable. And of course, they are burning 20% of their profit. So every quarter, every year, their 20% of their profit, that value, right, so let's say if 20% of their profit is 200 million, they will burn 200 million worth of Binance tokens. So what it does is basically it reduces the supply of the Binance coin in the market, and that basically, and as long as there's increased demand, it basically will have a very positive impact on the prices. And that's why a lot of people, when they understand the whole model, right, they are very, very bullish, and that's why they really like Binance coin for that reason, right? So then I guess then the question now is it still worthwhile buying at this price, right? I think if you are someone who can afford to park away some money for the long term, right, then I think it is still worthwhile to go in at this point, because really no one knows, right? But maybe it's advisable just to buy a little bit now and not. So let's say if you have a budget of $1,000, right? Now perhaps it's best to maybe buy $200 first, right, or $100, and then wait and see what happens, because you don't know, because it might really come down, right? Because if Bitcoin were to dip again to 3,000 level, because some people are expecting that, then maybe Binance coin will also ease down a bit, right? Who knows, but no one knows. But I'm just saying that maybe that's a suggestion, right? Even if you look at charts also, no one is accurate in that sense. So so it's hard to actually, no one has a crystal ball. If I have, that'd be great, but no one has, right? So we can only see the long-term potential. And remember, this is not a get rich quick scheme, right? So with that in mind, let's go on. Serena Williams, yes, this is very famous tennis star, right? Tennis ace who won 23 Grand Slams title singles. She has invested in cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase, and this is starting 2014. So, but now only she has put it out there publicly in her Instagram account that she has a company called Serena Ventures that invested in companies that empower people, and among others. So this is the list of companies that she has invested in. And one that's really stood out for crypto is Coinbase, of course, right? So that's really, really cool, because Serena Williams is a very, very high profile individual, right? And she has also a lot of fans, as you can see here. Just Instagram alone, she has 11 million followers, right? And people who, really true fans, right, we want to find out what are the companies that she has invested in. And definitely people who follow her will want to also, get involved in the company that she is involved as well. That's how normally, people will just follow what their influencer or people, their leader does, right? So that's really, really good for Coinbase, and I think overall it is very, very good for crypto as a whole. Coinbase also has done a lot of very remarkable things. They are one of the first exchange to actually enable very easy purchase of crypto using fiat, right? And the other thing is, of course, recently they have also a lot of new innovation, including they have a Visa card, Coinbase Visa card, that enables their users very easily to convert their crypto in their exchange into buying things from any merchants. The other thing is, of course, they are now expanding worldwide as well, growing their presence to 53 countries, right, this year. And that is crypto to crypto exchange. That's why they follow example of Binance, right, making their expansion super fast. So very, very good move. And I think so I think just this is not the first time, and I don't think this will be the last time that any high profile celebrities are embracing crypto. So that's just will be very good for the adoption as a whole. Next, we have Bitcoin market cap could breach $1 trillion during next bull run. So this is by Chris Bernisk, who is an author of a crypto book, and again, a very respected individual. So he basically looked at some analysis in the past 5 years data, right? And he has seen that if you look at the chart and you look at the vertical axis, right, basically it's very interesting. So kind of like every other year, right, it has jump a level. So from 2013, the blue bar is Bitcoin. That market cap of Bitcoin is $10 billion, right? And 2017 it has surpassed $100 billion, right? And just by like that, they think that by 2021 this is no surprise that it will get to $1 trillion. Yeah, so $1 trillion imply that each Bitcoin will be worth $55,000, right? Which is, again, if you think about it, which is 10 times from its current price today, roughly. Is that too unimaginable? I don't think so. Why do I say that? Look at this chart. So these are the data I compile, right? And if you look at just financial assets today, right? So the USD billion refers to the market cap of the assets today. Global real estate is worth $217 billion, right? Global debt, $215 billion. Broad money is just your deposits in the banking system. Globally, $90 billion. Stock market cap, $73 billion. $73 trillion, sorry. So it's like, all this is in trillions, sorry. So it's 217 trillion. Global debt, 215 trillion. Broad money is 90 trillion. Stock market cap, 73 trillion. Gold, 8 trillion. Wealth of 50 richest people, 2 trillion. Apple, largest company, market cap is 800 billion. Silver, 17 billion. Now, if just 1% of all this wealth were to move into crypto or Bitcoin, right, then you're talking about 6 trillion market cap. Yeah, in addition to about 100 plus billion today. That's many fold. And by just a rough sense, right, that's 60 times increase from the current price. That's close to about 200,000 to 300,000 per Bitcoin. And that's exactly the kind of level that Tim Draper, a very famous billionaire venture capitalist, is projecting for Bitcoin in 2022. That's his timeline, right? So if you say 1 trillion is unimaginable, no, because if you just back this up with just one analysis like this, just 1% of all this wealth moving into crypto, you already see the kind of wealth, can go up many times. Yeah. So next, Wise Rating, again, another rating firm that is very well respected, says that Bitcoin never to surpass 20,000 again. Yeah, so they tweeted that some say the next crypto bull run will be several magnitudes higher. However, it's highly unlikely. Every bull market tends to be smaller than the previous one. There's only so much money in the world that crypto can absorb. That's their view. But again, I don't agree, because I'm not saying that they are definitely wrong, but I think there are reasons to believe that they are not right. That's all I'm saying. Again, not financial advice, but my personal opinion. The thing is this, so far in the crypto and Bitcoin history, let's just take Bitcoin because Bitcoin has the longest history, is that every time Bitcoin has actually recovered from the previous crash and it has actually achieved a higher peak. So basically, if you look at the lowest price in Bitcoin as well, if you take the lowest price each year since 2010, right, the price of Bitcoin is continuously increased. The lowest price of Bitcoin is continuously increased year by year. Yeah. And so that tells you already something which is very different from every other market that we know of. Yeah. And the other thing is, Wise Rating, by saying this statement, they have no backing of where they are saying this. Yeah. And again, back to this chart where I said, if just 1% of all this wealth, traditional wealth, flow into crypto, we are going to see many times magnitude of that increase already. Yeah. So that just again gives me reason to believe that there's a lot of upside potential in this market. Next, Australia grants 170k to Crypto SA to launch country's first blockchain incubator. So the Australian government has awarded 170,000 to a blockchain advisory from Crypto SA to open the country's first blockchain incubator. So that's the key. What does this do is because, it's part of a funding project that, they are going to offer grants of up to 500,000 Aussie dollars to assist Australian startup to succeed in the crypto and blockchain world. So basically, they will select 10 startups, right? They will give them all this mentorship training, including pitching training, right? How to refine the deck, how do you pitch Shark Tank style to investors, right? That they are looking at potentially Singapore or China, where the money is, right, to actually pitch to get funding, and then to move from ideas to actually proof of concept to then actual projects and actual live launches of projects, right? So this is really, really good, because then you see a government, actually, this is not the first government, but this is one of those another government that comes on board, which actively support their companies, their entrepreneurs, right, in participating in this space, in actually growing this space, right? Because we need funding, we need more talent to come into this space to actually continue the innovation, right? Continue the adoption, right? Because we need things to be much more simpler, to be much more user-friendly, and to basically spur the adoption of crypto, right? So with that, I see a lot of positive news today, right? Some of it I totally don't agree, and I give you the reasons why. I hope you enjoy this. Please subscribe, leave a like, right? Or leave me a comment. And yes, I hope you're having a great day ahead, and I see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for your time.